Every time I put together a list of forgotten draft busts, you guys seem to really love it. So today I have another 9 draft busts most of you have probably forgotten about. These aren't guys who flamed out in a blaze of glory, just quietly disappeared. Rashan Salam burst onto the national scene in 1994 as the star running back for the Colorado Buffaloes. In his junior season, he rushed for 2,055 yards and 24 touchdowns, becoming only the 4th player in NCAA history at that time to surpass 2,000 rushing yards in a single season. His dominance earned him the Heisman Trophy, the Doak Walker Award, and unanimous All-American honors. Salam's combination of vision, balance, and breakaway speed made him one of the most sought-after prospects in the 1995 NFL Draft. The Chicago Bears selected Salam with the 21st overall pick, envisioning him as a franchise-changing back who could rejuvenate their offense. At just 21 years old, he was expected to be the centerpiece of the Bears' running game for years to come. His rookie season appeared to justify the hype. He rushed for 1,074 yards and 10 touchdowns, becoming the youngest player in NFL history at that time to eclipse 1,000 yards rushing in a season. Despite the promising start, Salam's career quickly unraveled. Over 3 seasons with the Bears from 1995 to 1997, he played in 31 games, starting 20, and accumulated 687 attempts, 1,684 yards, and 13 touchdowns. 22 receptions, 153 yards, and 14 total fumbles, with many coming in critical moments. After injuries and fumbling issues cost him playing time in 1996, Salam never regained his rookie form. He was traded to the Miami Dolphins in 1998, but never played a game for them. Brief stints with the Cleveland Browns and Green Bay Packers followed, but he was out of the NFL entirely by age 26. Mimula played defensive end for Boston College from 1991 to 1994, earning all Big East honors in his senior season after recording 73 tackles, 13 sacks, and 17 tackles for loss. Although productive in college, he wasn't initially seen as a top 10 draft prospect until his legendary performance at the 1995 NFL Scouting Combine. Meticulously preparing for each drill, Mimula posted a 4.58-second 40-yard dash, 28 bench press reps, and one of the best Wonderlic scores in his class. This propelled him up draft boards, and the Philadelphia Eagles traded up to select him with the 7th overall pick, hoping he would become a dominant edge rusher for the next decade. Mimula's rookie year showed early promise with 5.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, followed by 8 sacks and 2 more forced fumbles in 1996. However, a torn ACL in the 1998 preseason cost him an entire year, and although he returned in 1999 and 2000, he never matched his early production. Over 5 active seasons, he played in 77 games, started 63, and totaled 31.5 sacks, 209 tackles, 8 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries. While respectable, these numbers fell far short of the dominance expected from a top 10 pick, especially considering the draft capital the Eagles gave up to move up for him. Mimula's athletic testing created inflated expectations that didn't align with his actual NFL skill set. He was quick and smart, but lacked the elite strength, leverage, and bend to consistently beat top-tier tackles. Injuries further limited his career, robbing him of valuable development time. Although Mimula was a serviceable starter when healthy, his selection remains one of the most cited examples of a workout warrior whose combine success didn't translate into stardom, and his name has become a cautionary tale for overvaluing athletic measurables in the draft process. Aaron Curry starred at Wake Forest from 2005 to 2008, becoming one of the most decorated defensive players in school history. Known for his versatility and instinctive play, he finished his college career with 332 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 4 interceptions, returning 3 of those for touchdowns. His senior year dominance, capped by winning the 2008 Butkus Award as the nation's top linebacker, made him a consensus top prospect. Heading into the 2009 NFL Draft, analysts called Curry the safest pick in the entire class due to his size, speed, and football IQ. The Seattle Seahawks selected him 4th overall, expecting him to anchor their defense for a decade. Curry signed a 6-year, $60 million contract with $34 million guaranteed, then the richest deal ever for a rookie linebacker. His rookie season was modest, with 61 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, but he struggled in coverage and was often out of position. Over 3 seasons in Seattle, 2009-2011, he started 30 of 35 games, posting 134 4 tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles, but never became the dominant presence scouts envisioned. Midway through the 2011 season, he was traded to the Oakland Raiders for late-round draft picks. His stint in Oakland lasted only 13 games, with 50 tackles and no sacks, before injuries and diminished performance led to his release. By 2013, Curry had retired at just 27 years old. Analysts point to several reasons for his bust status. First, Curry's skill set didn't translate cleanly to the NFL, as he lacked elite pass rushing ability for a top pick and struggled in man coverage. Second, the defensive schemes he played in did not maximize his strengths as a downhill run defender. And third, his confidence and aggressiveness appeared to wane as he failed to meet expectations. While Curry's work ethic was never in question, his inability to elevate his game beyond solid starter status made his massive contract a poor investment for Seattle. Today, he's remembered as a cautionary tale that even the most can't-miss prospects can fail if their talents aren't a perfect schematic fit. Derrick Harvey was a standout defensive end at the University of Florida from 2004 to 2007, where his speed and length made him one of the most feared pass rushers in the SEC. As a redshirt sophomore, he was named MVP of the 2007 BCS National Championship game after recording 3 sacks against Ohio State, helping secure Florida's second national title in school history. Over his college career, Harvey totaled 20.5 sacks and 31.5 tackles for loss, building a reputation as a relentless edge rusher with the frame to dominate at the next level. The Jacksonville Jaguars, desperate for pass rushing help, selected him 8th overall in the 2008 NFL Draft. However, his career began on a sour note with a lengthy 33-day contract holdout that caused him to miss all of training camp and the preseason. The lost practice time showed immediately as Harvey struggled to adjust to NFL speed and offensive line technique. In his rookie season, he started 9 of 16 games and posted just 3.5 sacks and 39 tackles. His second season saw a slight statistical bump to 2.5 sacks and 57 tackles, but his pass rush impact remained minimal. By his third year in 2010, Harvey had been relegated to a rotational role, starting only 7 games and producing 2.5 sacks. In total, Harvey's Jaguars career consisted of 47 games, 32 starts, with 88 tackles, 8 sacks, and no forced fumbles, well below expectations for a top 10 pick. Analysts cite multiple factors in Harvey's bust status. First, his game was heavily dependent on athleticism, and he lacked the refined hand usage and counter moves necessary to beat NFL tackles. Second, his delayed start due to the holdout hindered his development and cost him critical early reps. And third, Jacksonville's coaching staff struggled to find a role that maximized his skill set. After being released in 2011, Harvey signed briefly with the Denver Broncos but never played another NFL snap. His career is often referenced as an example of the dangers of drafting for perceived upside without considering technical readiness. And his case highlights how missing even one training camp as a rookie can set a player's career back irreparably. Peter Warrick was a dynamic wide receiver and punt returner at Florida State from 1995 to 1999, where his explosiveness and big play ability made him one of the most electrifying players in college football. A consensus All-American and key contributor to the Seminoles' 1999 national championship team, Warrick finished his college career with 207 receptions for 3,517 yards and 32 touchdowns, along with 937 punt return yards and 3 punt return touchdowns. His ability to make defenders miss in the open field and his knack for turning short passes into long gains made him the top receiver in the 2000 NFL Draft. The Cincinnati Bengals selected Warrick with the 4th overall pick, expecting him to be a franchise-changing playmaker. As a rookie, he started all 16 games but posted modest numbers, 51 receptions for 592 yards and 4 touchdowns, while adjusting to the speed of the NFL. In 2003, Warrick appeared to break out, recording 79 receptions for 819 yards and 7 total touchdowns, including a rushing score. But this would prove to be his only season of high-level production. Injuries, particularly a nagging knee problem, began to sap his quickness and limit his effectiveness. Over 5 seasons in Cincinnati, he played 77 games, starting 58, and totaled 275 receptions for 2,991 yards and 18 touchdowns, along with 18 rushes for 157 yards and 2 scores. He also returned 92 punts for 941 yards and 2 touchdowns. By 2005, the Bengals released Warrick, and he spent one season with the Seattle Seahawks where he caught only 11 passes for 180 yards. His NFL career ended with 3,417 receiving yards, a far cry from the game-breaking production expected of a top 5 pick. Analysts point to multiple factors in his bust status. First, the Bengals' lack of offensive talent and instability at quarterback during his early years made it difficult for Warrick to thrive. Second, his smaller frame and lack of elite top-end speed made him less effective against physical NFL cornerbacks. And third, injuries robbed him of the quick-twitch explosiveness that was the foundation of his game. While Warrick was never a complete liability, he was a competent starter, an occasional highlight reel threat. He never came close to being the elite receiver Cincinnati envisioned. His career is remembered as one of the more disappointing transitions from college stardom to the pros. Tony Mandrich was an offensive tackle at Michigan State from 1985 to 1988, where his sheer size, strength, and athleticism made him one of the most hyped offensive line prospects in football history. Standing 6'6" and weighing over 310 pounds with remarkable speed and agility for his frame, Mandrich earned consensus All-American honors and was twice named Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. Sports Illustrated famously called him the Incredible Bulk and declared him the best offensive line prospect ever, largely due to his rare combination of size and workout numbers. Bench pressing 225 pounds 39 times and running a 4.65 second 40-yard dash. The Green Bay Packers selected Mandrich with the second overall pick in the 1989 NFL Draft, passing on future Hall of Famers Barry Sanders, Derrick Thomas, and Deion Sanders. Expectations were sky high, but the reality was far different. Mandrich held out for most of training camp in his rookie year, then immediately struggled against NFL competition, often getting overpowered despite his size. Over 3 seasons in Green Bay, 1989 to 1991, he started just 31 games, failing to live up to his billing as a generational talent. Reports emerged that Mandrich's college dominance had been fueled by steroid use, which he later admitted to during his Michigan State days. Without the same physical edge, he was simply an average lineman in the NFL. He was released after the 1991 season and was out of football for 3 years, battling substance abuse issues. Mandrich made a surprising comeback with the Indianapolis Colts from 1996 to 1998, starting 47 games and playing solid football, but by then the damage to his reputation was irreversible. Across his 6 total NFL seasons, he played 86 games and started 63, not terrible numbers, but far from what was expected of a number 2 overall pick touted as a once-in-a-lifetime prospect. Analysts attribute his bust status to multiple factors: over-reliance on physical gifts without developing elite technique, the negative impact of his initial contract holdout, the alleged steroid withdrawal affecting his performance, and substance abuse problems off the field. While his late career stint with the Colts showed he could be a competent starter, the opportunity cost of passing on multiple Hall of Famers cemented him as one of the most infamous draft disappointments in league history. Mandrich's name has since become synonymous with overhyped prospects, and his story is still cited as a cautionary tale about evaluating players based on workout numbers and raw athleticism rather than sustained on-field dominance. Jonathan Sullivan was a dominant defensive tackle at the University of Georgia from 1999 to 2002, where his size, quickness, and strength made him a disruptive force in the middle of the Bulldogs' defensive line. As a junior in 2002, he recorded 73 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks, helping Georgia capture the SEC championship. His blend of power and athleticism caught the attention of NFL scouts, and the New Orleans Saints traded 2 first-round picks and a 4th-rounder to move up and select him 6th overall in the 2003 NFL Draft. The investment created massive expectations, but Sullivan's NFL career was disappointing from the start. He reported to his rookie training camp overweight and out of shape, which limited his effectiveness. As a rookie, he appeared in all 16 games, but managed only 1.5 sacks and 30 tackles, struggling to make any consistent impact. His conditioning issues persisted into his second season, and his play regressed, with just 16 tackles and no sacks in 13 games. By 2005, Sullivan had fallen out of favor with the coaching staff, starting only 1 game and recording just 12 tackles. After 3 seasons in New Orleans, he was traded to the New England Patriots in 2006, but was released before playing a single down. Sullivan's career totals, 78 tackles and 1.5 sacks over 36 games, were abysmal for a top 10 pick, especially given the steep draft price the Saints paid to acquire him. Analysts attribute his bust status to several key factors: poor work ethic, lack of conditioning, and a failure to develop the technical skills necessary to succeed against NFL-caliber offensive linemen. Reports from former former teammates and coaches suggested that Sullivan lacked the motivation and discipline to maximize his immense natural talent, and his inability to control his weight hampered both his stamina and explosiveness. His case remains a prime example of how critical conditioning and mental preparation are for sustained NFL success, regardless of raw talent. The Saints' trade-up for Sullivan is still cited as one of the franchise's worst draft moves, and his name frequently appears on lists of the biggest defensive line busts in league history. While his college career showed flashes of dominance, his short and unproductive NFL tenure serves as a story about overestimating potential without evaluating work ethic and commitment to the game. Mike Williams was a star wide receiver at the University of Southern California from 2002 to 2003, where his size at 6'5", strong hands, and ability to win contested catches made him one of the most dominant young receivers in college football. As a freshman, he caught 81 passes for 1,265 yards and 14 touchdowns, then followed it up with 95 receptions for 1,314 yards and 16 touchdowns as a sophomore, earning consensus All-American honors. After his second season, Williams attempted to enter the NFL draft early due to a court ruling temporarily allowing younger players to declare, but when the decision was overturned, he was barred from returning to USC, forcing him to sit out the entire 2004 season. The layoff raised questions about his conditioning and readiness, but the Detroit Lions still selected him 10th overall in the 2005 NFL Draft, adding him to a roster that already featured recent first-round receivers Charles Rogers and Roy Williams. From the start, Williams struggled with weight issues and separation against NFL defensive backs. As a rookie, he caught just 29 passes for 350 yards and 1 touchdown. His production declined further in his second year with 8 receptions for 99 yards, and by his third season in 2007, he managed only 7 catches for 90 yards split between the Lions, Oakland Raiders, and Tennessee Titans. Through his first 3 NFL seasons, Williams' totals stood at just 44 receptions, 539 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Shocking numbers for a top 10 pick touted as an elite prospect. Analysts pointed to multiple factors in his bust status. The lost year between college and the NFL cost him critical development time. His conditioning was consistently below league standards, and his lack of top-end speed made him heavily reliant on physicality, which was neutralized by stronger, faster NFL cornerbacks. After being out of the league for 2 years, Williams made an unlikely comeback with the Seattle Seahawks in 2010 under his former college coach Pete Carroll, catching 65 passes for 751 yards and 2 touchdowns. While this brief resurgence proved he could still contribute, injuries cut it short, and he was out of the NFL again by 2012. Williams' career totals, 127 receptions, 1,526 yards, and 5 touchdowns, were far below expectations for a player once compared to the best in the game. Hade McNown was a record-setting quarterback at UCLA from 1995 to 1998, where his leadership and production made him one of the most accomplished passers in school history. As a senior, he threw for 3,470 yards and 25 touchdowns, led the Bruins to a school record 20-game winning streak, and finished 3rd in the 1998 Heisman Trophy voting. Known for his accuracy, mobility, and confidence, McNown entered the 1999 NFL Draft as one of the top quarterback prospects in a class that included Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper, and Achilles Smith. The Chicago Bears, desperate for a franchise quarterback, selected him 12th overall, expecting him to become the long-term leader of their offense. However, McNown's NFL career quickly fell apart. As a rookie, he started 6 games and posted a 2-4 record with 1,465 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, showing flashes of potential but also poor decision-making and inconsistency. In 2000, he started 9 games but regressed, throwing for just 1,465 yards again, with 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and completing only 56% of his passes. Questions emerged about his work ethic, attitude, and ability to command a locker room, with reports suggesting he alienated teammates. After 2 disappointing seasons in Chicago, the Bears traded him to the Miami Dolphins, where he never started a game and appeared in only 2 contests as a backup in 2001. The following year, he was traded to the San Francisco 49ers, but never took a regular season snap. McNown's final NFL stats: 15 starts, 3,111 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, and 19 interceptions with a 67.7 passer rating, were far below expectations for a first-round quarterback. Analysts cite several reasons for his bust status. His lack of elite arm strength limited his ability to stretch the field. His leadership style reportedly clashed with veteran players, and his inability to adapt to NFL defensive schemes made him prone to turnovers. The Bears' decision to take him over future Pro Bowlers like Torrey Holt and Champ Bailey only heightened the disappointment. By 2003, McNown was out of the league entirely, later making a brief attempt in the CFL that ended without success. Today, he's remembered as one of Chicago's most disappointing quarterback investments, part of a long history of failed attempts to solve the position. His career serves as a reminder that college productivity and confidence don't always translate into NFL success, especially if the physical tools and intangible leadership qualities aren't both present at the highest level. The stories of these players serve as a reminder that the NFL draft is as much an art as it is a science. Every April, front offices invest millions of dollars in the hopes of their fan bases into young athletes who, on paper, look like future stars. Yet history has shown us that talent, college dominance, and high draft status don't guarantee professional success. Injuries, scheme fit, work ethic, mental approach, and off-field distractions can all derail a career before it truly begins. For every first rounder who becomes a Hall of Famer, there's another who fades into obscurity far sooner than expected. These forgotten busts may not be as infamous as names like Jamarcus Russell or Ryan Leaf, but their careers are just as instructive. They show how opportunity can be fleeting and how critical it is for teams to evaluate not just physical ability, but also character, adaptability, and resilience. For fans, they're a reminder that the draft is unpredictable, full of both incredible hits and painful misses.